Thanks for giving me the opportunity to remind the voters that the guy who's standing here today was penniless in 2003, got back up again, and he's going to do that with the citizens of this county, get back up again and solve our problems. Yes, this tough Cuyahoga County businessman is going to do just fine with the citizens of this county. And while on the subject of campaign literature, do you think you can win this primary simply by sending out expensive campaign literature paid for by your family money that says nothing about what you're going to do or what you have done? Is this the way you can win the general election, by stuffing mailboxes and printed material? Well, we all know how expensive this literature is. Is this how you're going to waste this county's money? My opponent throughout this race has complained that I got in this race late. Well, I have lived here my whole life or worked here my entire life, lived or worked. My opponent is the one that's late. Matt, you didn't vote for issue 6 because you didn't live in the county. I'm a member of the committee that pushed for the passage of the new government. My opponent must have thought with his family money and name he could win this election. Well, I have a family name too, but the difference is I've been here my entire life, and I do have a track record. I have 4 children and 12 grandchildren, and their future is at stake. I'll be darned if I'm going to sit back and let this opportunity be squandered to change the insanity that we've had in this county for so many years. There's no way that the hardworking people of this county can give this seat to someone who has been here less than a year. Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent my entire working career making a living in this county. I started out as a CPA, auditor, and administrator. After about 10 years, I became a licensed real estate broker, and I have sold almost $1 billion out of this county. I have earned my living by selling this county to outsiders, and I've saved jobs and created jobs. Just last December, I sold the Sheraton Hotel in Independence and saved the property from closing. The investor who I attracted told me that the reason he bought the property was because I was so enthusiastic about Cuyahoga County. He has since invested $3 million more, and now we have a Crown Plaza out in Independence. And now I have just matched another out-of-town investor with the Randall Park Mall. It's 100 acres, 2 million square feet. Now a redevelopment plan is in place, and we're going to create next to almost 2,000 jobs. I've also had involvement with 20 different nonprofit organizations as past chairman of Recovery Resources and a lifetime trustee. I can assure you that I know the importance of running county programs efficiently for the good of the taxpayers. And I was also on the board of Cleveland Right to Life for 6 years. I am the only candidate with a 2020 vision to transform this county into becoming one of the top 10 places to live, work, or raise a family by the year 2020. I haven't seen my opponent's plan, have you? This plan has 3 things: grow the economy, unite the region, smarter, better government. It's about transparency, accountability, and inclusiveness. We're going to have a report card of our doings each and every 90 days. Some of the things the plan includes: business in a day. You can walk in and start a business in 1 day and be out of there, and you're in business the next day. If you're going to wash windows, you'll be washing windows the next day. Cuyahoga County Bank, what a novel idea that is. Why don't we give some money to, loan some money to some of the entrepreneurs that want to start businesses? From here, for here. Why are we doing business outside of the county? When we send business outside this county, we're giving up job creation. Lower taxes. We all know what lower taxes is about. That's going to help create jobs. Shared services. Taking some of the various organizations throughout the county and having an opportunity to buy things in quantity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running a grassroots campaign. We're a hearts and smarts campaign. We are doing more with less. When did you hear that last? We are at a crossroads, and I'm the candidate that can win in November. I have the track record, I have the passion, I have the stability of 42 years of marriage. I represent the interests and heart and soul of this county. I am Victor Voinovich, and I ask for your vote in September 7th of this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Voinovich. We will now hear from Mr. Dolan.
Thank you, Rick. Good afternoon. And again, thank you to the City Club. And for anybody who's aware of City Club traditions, we all got to sign the book. and that's kind of a thrill. So thank you, Jim, for allowing us to do that. And also thank you for having a debate during a primary, because primaries are a little different elections. It is our responsibility as Republicans to nominate a candidate who is ready to win in November and ready to lead in January. And I stand before you this afternoon as that candidate. I have the right temperament, experience, and leadership to win in November and to be our first county executive here in Cuyahoga County. You know, we are all here today because of the extraordinary efforts that many people undertook last fall. But Issue 6 was really the overnight sensation that took 20 or more years in the making. Because there's been many of us, including myself in 2008 on the floor of the House, advocating for Cuyahoga County reform. Not because of corruption, but because of a lack of a mission, a lack of a vision, and a lack of a leadership. That when we pulled the curtain back last fall and realized that we had public servants acting in their own private interest, we realized why we had no leadership and mission in this town. So I stand before you as a candidate with the mission. The mission to run a government with honesty and integrity, to create a thriving, growing, and diverse population and economy so that we can all enjoy economic opportunities and economic freedoms. In the short time that we have with us this morning, there are 4 pillars to concluding that mission. That is running with honesty and integrity. And I stand before you a former state representative because I didn't want you paying my salary as taxpayers while I sought another public position. Leadership starts with the top, and it began with me on February 9th when I entered this race. We need to understand that it is the return of the public-private relationship that is going to drive this economy. Government doesn't create jobs. It simply creates an environment for you, the private sector, to create jobs. And I'm going to do that by engaging not just with their intellectual capital and their creativity and also their money. But I'm also going to create Cuyahoga Forward, to move it outside of the restrictions of government, a nonprofit entity that will coordinate all the efforts of the municipalities and Greater Cleveland Partnership and COSI, so that we have one voice, one-stop shopping for business development. So whether you're a small company like the lady we spoke with in Euclid last night, who when she started her business had nowhere to turn, you can make that one call to Cuyahoga Forward to get up and operating. So your tax incentives, your financing, your workforce development, your research, real estate options will all be at one fingerprint. We also need to recognize that the primary responsibility of county government is the delivery of health and human services. And under a Dolan administration, we're going to create a wraparound service. So when you engage with the county, you as that individual will be one step away of dependence and one step towards your own independence. So they too can join in the economic opportunity that we're going to create. You know, the one thing about primaries is I talked about you have to be ready to lead. You also have to be ready to win. And I have the experience. I've practiced law for 20 years. I've served in the state legislature dealing with issues that directly impact Cuyahoga County, the land bank, the Great Lakes Compact. I was responsible for a $54 billion state budget to protect the monies coming back to Cuyahoga County that would go to our neediest of folks. And in the course of my experience, I had one dealing with an attorney who told me at the end of a rather contentious case that I was the nicest, meanest guy that he's ever had to deal with. Well, I want civility back in government. I want my sons and stepsons to understand that public service is a noble calling. But we need somebody who's been there, can face down the entrenched interest, and can stand up for what is right for Cuyahoga County and set that mission and be relentless in the pursuit of that mission. Again, I am Matt Dolan, and I want to be the first county executive. I ask for your vote.
Thank you, gentlemen. We will now have rebuttals from each. Mr. Casey is up first. You have 1 minute, sir.
I just want to talk a little bit about winning attitude, fortitude, and desire. I walked on Ohio University. I walked onto the wrestling team, and I earned a full scholarship. I was a team captain for 3 years and a 2-time Mid-American Conference champion. I have 2 MAC rings, Mid-American Conference team championship rings, and a team championship ring from the Southern Conference. In 2000, I started a business in one of the most volatile decades that we know of